We good? Come on, come on. Okay, cool. We're back, I think. Um, Let me know if you can see my face and hear my voice. Uh, if you can, cool. I think my internet just like crashed or something like that for a moment, which I love. So yeah, again, this is kind of like brute forcing it, but we're gonna make another list of and get rid of all these periods. Hi Phoenix, how are you? So NTN now. Yeah. So the bare bug looks at it. So as you can see, like we could create a bunch of different ways that it will make the text. Like whatever our origin node is can be a bunch of different things. And we're going to get into that more now, a little bit. Oh dang, I don't love lagginess. Oh well, I'm just gonna keep on talking. I hope that y'all can hear and see the things that I'm doing. So we are going to now move on to the final way of doing things like this, which is using a library, of which there are several, but I'm going to show you all how to use tracery because this is my favorite personally. There's another one called Rita that is cool and for cool. Hey Flan, you might use for different stuff. It's like good for like procedurally generated literature and things like that. You know, it seems really cool. I haven't messed with it too much though. I know tracery pretty well though, so we're gonna use that. So gonna comment this out, and uncomment this, and uncomment this. So for this, we need another library. As I said, it's tracery. So if gonna pull this up. If you want, if you're following along, you could go over to tracery.io and get the repo. And really all you need is in here this file called tracery.js, and get the raw, just copy it into a file called tracery.js. Boop. So that's what I did. Cool. So, as I said, we need this and whatever I'm calling a tracery example. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah, like it's not a ton. So where is it? Here we are. So for this one, it's gonna start kind of the same in some ways, but like it's going to handle a lot of the recursion for us and things like that. So, or like all of it basically. So I'm going to, again, this is what I kind of like threatened up top, or like I've told a few people, some of you maybe, I don't remember. The thing that I want to do with this one is make a small town with a dark history generator, because I think that that's fun. So I'm going to make a variable called town. And we're kind of, again, going to come back to that later. And so just to set things up though, we want a variable called grammar. And this is going to kind of like just hold all of our grammar that we're going to pass to our kind of like setup function and stuff like that. So, and we want a setup function as we did last time. Function setup. Again, no canvas. And so we're going to take a grammar variable, and we want to make a grammar basically. So to tracery basically has the setup function called create grammar. So we're gonna call tracery and say create grammar. And I'm going to pass it my town object. And so what that's doing is basically taking everything in here, sticking it in here, and then this is going to do all the expansion for us. So basically, as soon as we do this, it does that expansion that we did last time around. And let's make another variable. Let's call it result, or like final town, or whatever we want to call it. You know, that's none of that was right. And so you can think of this almost like rendering it, sort of. So like we expanded it here, and that like goes through the entire tree and finds like picks something and puts it all together, and then we're going to run this function to actually like collapse it and make it into a sentence. And we're going to pass it whatever node we're going to start with, and let's just call it like start or something like that. So, and I'm going to say like welcome, come to whatever. And we'll get back here in a moment. Right now we want to, and this is an important thing, it needs to be a string, and it needs to be like bordered with hash symbols. Hash symbols are really important in tracery. It's kind of how it determines where each node is. And then p. So we're just going to then take this, push it out to a paragraph object. So I'm going to say welcome to town name. And so town name, now this is a node basically, and it's going to refer to another list of stuff. Then we can put a comma there, and then we could make whatever town name is. So this is going to point to this list, and it's going to be something within this list. And so as we did before, we can make them arrays. So I'm going to make a few different like town name formats, because like, you know, a bunch exist. Like the general ones that I've seen, I was actually like prepping for this, looking through like lists of town names to see sort of like how town names are constructed and stuff like that. Again, going back to like, what is a good example of the thing that you're trying to make? And so like, there are like, you know, ton, vil, you know, those sorts of like suffixes. Might say like prefix, suffix. When it is one word, it might look like that, right? Where it's like I was Phoenix, who's in chat hypothetically, and Ale, who maybe is in chat. I don't know. I told them to come. Friends of mine were playing an RPG that I designed in a town called Hopedale, and this kind of takes that form, right? Whereas something like I don't know, trying to think of, I don't know, like I grew up in a town called Nyack. That is just one word that is a name. You know, that's another way that you can think about constructing town names. So anyways, not gonna get too deep into that. Sunnydale from Buffy, yes. So like we could also imagine something where it's like, you know, oops, has to be a string. First word. Second word. You might want to specify that this is like And then like something where it's just like one word maybe. So like, oops, one name word. I don't know. Y'all can do whatever you want. And so now we could come up with a bunch of prefixes. What are some like burst, like, I'll take what Chris said. So sunny is a good thing. Ash, just some words. Mill. New. I have some written down, but y'all can. I'll take mine that I just mentioned. Hope. Raven. Good. Yeah, they could be spooky prefixes. They don't have to be. Like, sometimes I find with, like, spooky towns or whatever, like, it makes sense to make it, like, either deliberately not spooky or kind of innocuous. Like, I don't know, spring. Like Springfield or whatever. Y'all can keep putting things in chat. But then, let's get some suffixes going. So like port, Dale, Bill. Yeah. Love living in Cryptodale. It's a great old time. Land, Berg, ton. So now we don't have any of these, so let's just get rid of these. But we could look at what it's spitting out with this so far. Welcome to Springport. And if we want, we could also make this an array. Hope you enjoy your stay in town name. Newland. Ravenburg's all right. Ravenholm is such a good place name. I'm never gonna get over it. Okay, so now let's now we could get into like sort of the way that I was thinking about this is like, welcome to blah blah blah, like don't go near the blah blah blah, or you know, like something like cryptic and spooky. So let's say like spooky sentence. Go near the whatever, and then like I don't know how to quite operationalize like welcome to Ravenburg. We haven't had a murder in 10 days. Or something like that. Make that something that like this we could write into this grammar easily. But at this point, you know, like feel free to just make your whatever kind of generator you're making, I'm gonna work on this for a bit, and feel free to plug chat with questions or whatever. Before that, though, I want to nope, none of that. Going to where is it? Pull up my thing all the way to the end, because I didn't show my last slide here. So some resources and further reading that you might want to consider is, like I said, Kate Compton is great, and like her site is super good, and she has like a lot of stuff on generative systems and things like that. That is worth looking at, reading through, etc. This is the essay that I was talking about. So you want to build a generator. She's super cool. And again, if I didn't say it, I'll restate that she is the author of Tracery, which is super cool. Also, Allison Parrish does this class on called Reading and Writing Electronic Texts, which has a lot of interesting stuff about generative text in it. And also Mike Cook, which I mentioned earlier, has written a lot of interesting stuff on procedural generation more generally. Like he does a lot of he's an AI researcher, so he does a lot of stuff about, like, he made this AI that makes video games. It's a very interesting project called Angelina, which some of y'all might have heard of. But he also wrote or is in the process of writing this series on procedural generation in game spaces. So like levels and things like that. Definitely worth reading through. It's very interesting. And yeah, those are some places that you might want to check out to continue reading about stuff like this. But I am going to keep on making this generator, and y'all can join me if you want to, or not if you don't want to. So like that's sort of like the end of the things that I'm actively saying. But definitely like tweet me the things that you made today if you want. If not, that's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna stick around until 5. Feel free to, spam chat with whatever you want. And thank you. I'm glad you could come. Where is my thing? Here's my thing that I was looking for. Okay, I'm going to switch it back over to this one. Start you. Hope you enjoy your stay in Sunnyport. Don't go near the place. Try to stay out of the place. Where's some good places? Like, cemetery's obvious, morgue is obvious. Tunnels left over from a bygone age. see if we can make this work with this grammar. So you can. You definitely can do, like, I wouldn't go so far as to say, like, you can do logic. Yeah, there's a ghost with like 40 legs and 76 eyes. Watch out for it. You can't do logic, but you can do like probability type stuff with it for sure. I would need to pull up the documentation to remember how to do that, because like that's just something that I never need to know how to do when I'm using tracery. But like that's also a reason why you might want to build your own system like this. Is if you want tighter control over when things happen and whatever. But like what you can do is like tracery is just kind of like a starting point, sort of, because like this is probably going to be used inside of whatever other thing you're making, right? So like if you're using like the Twine implementation or whatever, you can do like logic around when you are calling to tracery and whatnot. But yeah, there's no like if statements and things like that, I don't believe. But you can control an amount of probability. Let me see. Let's pull up the documentation. There are also like modifiers and things like that that you can use. So like, uppercasing things, stuff like that. But yeah, I would definitely suggest looking through the documentation. Oh, hell yeah. I love that for you, Flan. Yeah, Python is really good for this kind of stuff. I'm just like not good at Python. I don't really like it that much. Like whenever I'm like, I should learn more Python too, like so that I could actually do more cool, because there are so many like good string manipulation functions and stuff like that in Python. I'm just bad at it as a language. I'm way more comfortable with like C# and things in that family of languages. Yeah, there's a Python implementation of tracery. I've just never used it because I don't use Python all that much. Yeah, like it seems good. I don't know. I don't like it when languages have spaces that matter, to be honest. Like I don't like it when like like I don't know. It seems like Python's really good at doing like IO stuff. Um, Yeah, it just stresses me out constantly whenever I'm writing anything like Python. Um, Chris, I should show you sometime. I'm working on this game. Going back to your earlier question about like doing logic and stuff like that, that uses a bunch of like computational text stuff, but also has different sort of grammars triggered by different events that are happening in game. I think you might get a kick out of it. What's liquid? Babycastles? Oh yeah, so like since we're at the end of all this, like, you know, if you have any money to donate, the thing's down there. Please do that if you can. If you enjoyed this, if you want us to keep on doing more of these sorts of things. And also tonight, Flan, who is in chat, is going to be playing some Pokemon on stream. So definitely catch that. Yeah, Pokemon time's at 8. Be here for that. Got enough time to go get dinner or whatever, but come back. Pronoun. I'm just gonna do. And I want to like italicize it, but I don't know like if you can do that, or like I know you can, but just I don't know. In Jekyll, Chris, what specifically are you talking about? Oh yeah, definitely. I think I already had the where it matters. Yep. Yeah, that's how I like to do it anyway. Like because that's I usually structure these things like because I've had some grammars that are just really huge. If any of you played my game Name Eater, that had a huge grammar with like hundreds and hundreds of words in it, I think. And yeah, like as I like to segment things by sort of like where like if I have like one kind of noun, then next will be another kind of noun, next will be like maybe a plural set of nouns, whatever, and keep on going down, because again my brain sort of like navigates these trees by when I invoke them in the code, and sometimes I move things around, so like it might make sense to take spooky thing and spooky sentence and put them together or whatever. But yeah, it's really pretty easy to start because like again all this is just language, so we can like it makes sense that you can chunk it in a bunch of different ways. What are some other spooky things that could be in wherever? Oops. Don't go there. So like sometimes I get into a thing where I'm like, I don't know what to call this because like so I'm just gonna call it like other spooky sentence, and I might come up with a better name later. But yeah, I made so Mike Cook, the person that I just talked about. He came up with and then ran Proc Jam. The game that I was talking about a little bit ago, game Name Eater was made for that. If you haven't played that game, it's fine. It's a twine, like a generative twine thing that where each like you are a demon fighting your way through hell and taking the names of every foe that you down and adding them to your own. And each one is like basically just like a long list of awful titles that they have because that's how demons do, and it's really gross and kind of fun. So that was made for Proc Jam. I would like to do another one. So Mike sort of like stopped doing it and like wanted to hand off control to other people, and I kind of wanted to work with that because I've ran some moderately successful co-ran some moderately successful game jams and stuff like that, and think would be a cool thing to do, but I don't know if what with the state of the world and stuff like that, when that's gonna happen. this an array? What are some of the spooky things that we say? A game that I want to make someday that uses some amount of generative text in it is basically like a fantasy medical detective game where like the game generates for you some kind of horrible disease and you need to like do vaguely inspired by reality epidemiology, but like with the constraints of like what people had available to them like when epidemiology first was becoming a thing, to figure out how best to deal with it. I've had that in my head for a while, but like that requires a lot of apply leech, always the answer. That would be really fun, I think, but like also would require a lot of research. And yep. Go to store, buy leech, buy more leech. And also I don't know if anyone like wants to play a game about like epidemics at the moment. Maybe, I don't know. Lots of people are playing pandemic. What was the one where you try to create a super virus called? I don't know. Anyways, it's basically the end of this. So I'm gonna kill the stream, I think. But thank you so much, everyone who stuck around until now. Been great. Thank you. Yeah. Read all those people, the people who have done this way longer than I have, who have been doing this work, and it's making it super cool and accessible and etc. And yeah, of course, thank you for having me, Babycastles. Again, donate link down there, and come back in like 3 hours for Flan's Pokemon stream. It's gonna be cool.